Welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD podcast. We'll be right back with today's guest, but first, let's hear from our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Final Forms for their support of Wednesday Wisdom. Final Forms is the industry leader in registration, but you have to know this. Final Forms is more than just forms. Final Forms is a team, it's technology, and it's a service that serves schools in the areas of compliance, communication, and provides risk management solutions. Final Forms can help your stakeholders with things like mobile accessibility. It has reminders for parents about policies, about physicals, and all the forms that go with athletics. Final Forms can help with team communication, attendance, and even certification management for coaches. And for ADs, Final Forms can help with eligibility, with rosters, and all the reports that come across your desk. And it does this using secure language translation and ADA compliance. You know, it's time for you to talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take the next steps and find out what Final Forms can do for you, go to finalforms.com/Jake. Once again, that's finalforms.com/Jake to get started with Final Forms. We also want to say thanks to Violet Defense. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement existing products or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience you need. Go to violetdefense.com for more information about their great products. We also want to say thank you to Sideline Interactive. You know, it's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department, but Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every year while creating excitement in the gym and the ultimate game day experience for your athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 to schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com and see exactly what their fantastic products can do for you. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to say thank you to Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. You know, they are on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen video consoles and an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Or to learn more and get started with your digital Wall of Fame tribute, call them at 614-981-3589, or you can email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. Over 200,000 teams, including some of the best in the world, are using Huddle to help their athletes play at the highest level with video and analytics. Huddle's the complete performance platform. They have online tools, mobile and desktop apps, smart cameras like the Huddle Focus. There's always been analytics, but there's a whole lot more. Huddle's built for every level of play, from club and youth teams all the way through high school and college programs, and even the pros are using Huddle to help their teams play better. You're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes, a lot of their parents, and the coaches of the college teams you're trying to get to recruit your kids. If you want to find out more about what Huddle can do for you and your program and how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. We also want to say thank you to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack for sponsoring the Athletic Director Toolbox segment of our podcast. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack also gives the 95% of the parents and the student athletes who really love your program a voice, and it helps demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466, or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the folks at Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack and let them show you how to take your athletic program from good to great. And we want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. You can find out more about what Hometown Ticketing can do for you and your program by going to hometownticketing.com and talk to their experts. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. Our guest this week is a good friend, Candace Mitchell. I'm sure regular listeners, Candace is a longtime athletic director. She's a certified master athletic administrator, still very active with the NIAAA. She's the lead instructor for the new Partnering with Parents course. But her full-time job is she is the director of development for USA football. And if you know anything about Candace, I think it's kind of a dream job for her. So first of all, Candace, welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here and join you, Jake. So for Wednesday Wisdom, I know this is blowing up for you guys, and so I'm just honored to be a part of it.
Oh, well, again, you're helping us. So thanks for your contribution. Again, for those of you that might be new listeners, Candace has a very cool background. She was a longtime high school AD. She worked with the State Association in Georgia, but she also has quite an athletic resume and was actually a player on the U.S. women's national tackle football team that won a gold medal back, I want to say 2017. Was that correct?
Yes, 2017 against Canada.
Yeah. So again, she has, been on the gridiron. She strapped it on and played with the best of them at a world level. And now she's helping that, let's say, next generation of players with USA football. So I thought you could first share recently the U.S. women's team had their tryouts and players were selected. How did that play out? How did that go? And maybe what's coming up?
Let me tell you, it was so exciting to be a part of it. The last time that I participated in something like that, I was on the player side, and so it was, just very nervous. You're trying out for a team to represent your country. And so this time for me to be on an administrative side, it was very interesting, but it was emotional. It was emotional 2 days for me because I know what we went through to pull this operation together. USA football, we wanted it to be a very transparent type of event. We wanted to be able to welcome in players from all over the country. There's so many leagues of women that play this game, and we didn't want anybody to feel like, well, because I'm in one league, I may not have an equal opportunity. But this is an equal opportunity for any woman who has experience in the game or even no experience to come in and try to earn the stars and stripes with Team USA. And it was just over a month that we were at IMG. Oh my God, the campus is just amazing. That was my first time on the campus. So just 2 days of just hardcore football. There's not a whole lot of time for teaching. So it was a lot of evaluation. We were able to bring in coaches to evaluate the players, men and women, to come in and evaluate the players so that we could form the best team for our country.
What,
200 women showed up.
oh, that was going to be my next question is, how many people were there for the tryouts? And I think the final roster got narrowed down to 45. It must have been some tough decisions there with the staff. Walk us through that just a little bit, the selection process.
Yeah, so over 2 days, these women were split up, offense, defense, and in their positions. So each position had a couple evaluators. We even brought in Jennifer King from the Washington Commanders to come in. Yes, Coach Lowe from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we brought in some females from the NFL to evaluate as well. But they're just 2 days of just true opportunity to see how the women could perform on individually, one-on-ones, short side play, all the way to 11 on 11 for the second day. Special teams, it was just a great day of trials. And so after every practice, every opportunity that the coaches got a chance to get together, to put their minds together, just to trickle down, because at the end of the day, we wanted the best players, the best 45. And it was difficult. I think that this was probably one of the top tryouts that we had as far as talent, talent pool represented. And, this is a tough time right now. So it's very expensive, to travel to Bradenton, Florida. You've got women traveling, all the way from California to get there. And, they had to pay for the housing and food and, just to be able to try for the team. But they wanted an opportunity to make this team. But the coaches really got together and talked through everything. We were able to watch film, just go through some of the things that Callie Brownson, that's our head coach. She coaches for the Browns. I think she's chief of staff for the Browns. She was my former teammate in 2017. But she's going to be heading the charge for Team USA. She got the coaches together so that we could really evaluate the best players to make the 45 roster.
Now, again, for our listeners, Candace has a very solid football background. She coached high school football. Again, she played on the gold medal team back in 2017. As you were selecting players, with the staff, because I'm sure that, the coaches were actually there, were you looking for just, the best football athletes and then kind of build an offensive and defensive scheme around it? Or were the coaches, we're looking for like a quarterback, we're looking for a mobile quarterback, we're looking for a pocket passer, what was that philosophy on player selection?
Yeah, so Callie was very upfront in the beginning about, how she just, the philosophy of how she wanted to see things go. But she put a lot of trust in her offensive coordinator, Jim Farrell, who was our head coach in 2017, Stephanie Balachko, who was our defensive coordinator. She was also my defensive coach in 2017. She believed in their philosophy for their offensive schemes and for their defensive schemes. And so we kind of picked based off of that. If you were good at multiple positions, I think that kind of raised your stock a little bit because we definitely wanted a solid roster. So let's say you were a top linebacker who could kick, you really had a good shot, because that gave us room to bring in someone else. Or let's say Ninji Martin, she was our star middle linebacker in 2017. She tried out this year as quarterback, so we know that we can use Ninji as a quarterback and a linebacker. So just strengths like that, the diversity amongst the players, helped with decision-making. They didn't care if you were, if you played the game 20 years, because a lot of young girls came in here, first time trying out and made that team. Like I said, they were Callie was very open and honest about her wanting the best players, on the field. So I'm just excited about what they came up with. I just couldn't be more proud of, the way they went about the selection process for the team.
I'm getting excited just listening to you. You're going to have to get me a sideline pass for those next tryouts, so I can just come down and just be a fly on the wall.
Let me tell you, it would be exciting. You would definitely love it.
For our listeners, we're visiting today with Candace Mitchell. She's a certified master athletic administrator, longtime AD, currently with USA Football, and she's the director of development for USA Football. We're talking about the women's national team We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with some more. Please stay with us. This is Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We want to thank Final Forms for their support of Wednesday Wisdom and the podcast. Final Forms is the industry leader in registration, but you need to know this. Final Forms is more than just forms. Final Forms is a team, it's technology, and it's a service that provides schools with compliance, communication, and risk management solutions. Final Forms can help your stakeholders with things like mobile accessibility. It has reminders for parents about policies, about physicals, and all the forms that go with athletics. Final Forms can also help with team communication and attendance and even certification management for coaches. And Final Forms can help ADs with eligibility, with rosters, and all the reports that come across your desk. And it does this using secure language translation and ADA compliance. You know, it's time for you to talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take the next steps, find out what Final Forms can do for you and your program, go to finalforms.com/Jake. One more time, that's finalforms.com/Jake to get started and find out exactly what Final Forms can do for you. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive for their support of Wednesday Wisdom. You know, it's getting harder and harder to fund an athletic department, but Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every single year, while also creating excitement in the gym and the ultimate game day experience for your athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call them at 832-786-0302 to schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com and see exactly what their fantastic products can do for you. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. Welcome back, everyone, to Wednesday Wisdom. Our guest is Candace Mitchell with USA Football. Candace, you talked about the tryouts, and now the tournament, the World Tournament, is going to be next month. Not next month. It's going to be in July in Finland. So, if you can take us through what the players are going to be experiencing, what the format's going to be, and just kind of let's do a deep dive into the experience of playing in a world tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. We're actually going to travel to Canton that last week of July for a week of training camp where the women who've made the team will all come in. It's going to consist of, 2 days of practice. You'll have film and meetings and things like that. You will get to eat together, fellowship together, get to bond as a team for a week before we actually travel to Finland, which will actually be that first week in August. And so when we get to Finland, we'll have an opportunity to just kind of decompress, get situated, with our living quarters. Probably have meetings right off the bat. There'll be lots of meetings, lots of film, lots of practicing. Typically, we'll practice the teams that'll be there. So we'll be playing. Finland is hosting. USA will be there. Also, Canada, Mexico, Sweden, Great Britain, Germany, and Australia will be competing. So we don't have the schedule yet, so we don't know who will be playing first. But it's kind of like a tournament style, and it goes on all the way until the championship game. But we'll have an opportunity to mingle with the other teams, eat with them. We have the countries have their schedules organized to where you're utilizing the fields at different times to get your practices in. We share meeting rooms. As in Canada, we were all kind of on the same campus, so you do kind of get to see each other, and it's just a really fun time for the world to come together, where women who all play American football get to come together and meet each other, because in between those lines, we all speak the same language, and it's just a great environment. It's something that it's an experience that I'll cherish, forever. Just me gaining that experience in 2017 and being able to come back, in 2022 from a different perspective, to be able to support these women who are representing the country, it's just priceless. But I work alongside Elizabeth Faust, who's been serving for years in a general manager type role for women's tackle football, and she's amazing. And so we work great together. And so I'm just so proud to be a part of her team to help lead this effort to hopefully us bringing gold back.
Yeah, again, you're making me jealous about everything you're going to be experiencing. I'm going to guess that from year to year and from tournament to tournament, there's probably some turnover on everyone's roster. But are there any rankings out right now? Are we the favorite? Are we the underdog?
I would say that we're the favorite because we've won every championship, but because the game of American football is growing so much, especially with women, women are getting better and better all over the world in football. And so it's very interesting because I know in 2017, even though we played the championship game against Canada, I think that one of our most competitive games was against Mexico. And Mexico is coming in as a high favorite to challenge us in the gold medal round. So it's going to be exciting to see how that unfolds, especially with the growth of flag football. They are dominating globally in flag football, and you can see how the growth in flag has transitioned to their growth in tackle. And so we're really excited about how we're going to match up, with Mexico. And then, of course, you got your powerhouse Canadian team, and Germany and Australia always does very well. So it's going to be some exciting football in Finland this summer.
That's really cool to hear. I know there's a big rivalry between the U.S. women's national soccer team and Mexico. So it looks like that's just carrying over into football. You mentioned flag football, and here in Florida, and I know in other states too, flag football is just exploding. Great competitive opportunity and help grow the sport of football. Do you have any numbers that you can share with our listeners about flag football around the state? So maybe a state association that hasn't added it yet can see that, hey, we need to add this sport for our girls.
Yeah, so there are probably about 10 states around the country at this point who have sanctioned girls flag in high school. And then there are quite a few more who are piloting the program. USA Football and the NFL has been very pivotal in this movement. USA Football specifically, I'm spearheading the female pathway as far as bringing more awareness, increasing participation numbers in flag. We see that movement. Girls are seeing all over the country how popular it is, and they're demanding, that we have it in our states. In Georgia, once we launched with the help of the Atlanta Falcons and USA Football, the NFL, it's just been so exciting. And we know that the template that Amanda Dinkle and the Atlanta Falcons did to help sanction flag football in Georgia. They used it in Alabama. They're also using it in Minnesota. The NFL is doing a great job as far as what they're doing on the grassroots level to, start flag football in the high schools. USA Football has a grant for anybody that's interested in starting leagues for girls in flag football. And so we're growing from the bottom up, and we're really excited. We know that this is going to take off, and we don't want to wait until 2028 when flag football has an opportunity to be in the Olympics. We want to do it now. And so that's why we're really pushing this really hard. And especially with girls being able to earn scholarships now in the NAIA. Hopefully the NCAA is going to jump on board. But right now, this is a great opportunity. Girls are being able to, go to college for free for playing flag football. So this is going to help push high schools and other states to sanction girls flag in their districts.
Great news. Candace, if one of our listeners wants to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more about tackle football or about maybe starting flag football in their area, what's the best way that they can get in touch with you?
Feel free to email me, kmitchell@usafootball.com. You can also find me on Twitter or LinkedIn. Just reach out to me, and or just log on to USA Football, and there'll be somebody there to help you get your program, off the ground, or answer any questions for you. We're just really excited about just getting our feet wet, and helping other people get their feet wet in this, and pushing the initiative forward. But whether it's tackle football, flag football, girls or boys, we're just really excited about it.
Oh, absolutely. Candace Mitchell, Certified Master Athletic Administrator and USA Football Director of Development and Women's National Team. Okay. Thanks so much for being on Wednesday Wisdom.
Thank you for having us. You have to bring me back after we come back with that gold medal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For our listeners, the recordings of all of our broadcasts are uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you tuning in today. Come back every Wednesday for more Wednesday Wisdom, and just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We want to thank our other sponsors for their support of Wednesday Wisdom and the Educational AD Podcast. I want to say thanks to Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com to get started with your digital Wall of Fame tribute. You can call them at 614-981-3589, or you can email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack allow you to collect comprehensive data from your parents and your student athletes that helps you evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. Go to athleticsurveys.com, or you can call them at 800-738-6466. You can also email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. We also want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. You can find out what Hometown Ticketing can do for you by going to hometownticketing.com and talk to their experts. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. Thanks again for tuning in to Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.